Back to 11.6. This is going to be day one of probably a 2-day lesson. And we're going back to chapter 2 when we solved equations for variable. Now, I know you guys probably weren't the most fond of this chapter, except really we've been using these skills all throughout this entire year. So I think this should be pretty easy by now. Okay? But we're going to spend a couple days refreshing just in case. So things to remember, our goal is to get the variable by itself. So remember, variable is one of the letters, stands for a number we don't know. We do inverse operations to get the variable alone. So if it's like x plus 4 equals something, you do the opposite of plus 4, so you subtract 4. Today there's some parentheses. If you see parentheses, distribute first. And if there's a fraction, you can multiply by the reciprocal to get rid of that fraction if that's attached to the variable, which you'll see examples of. So I'm just going to go through a few examples. Now the ones I chose are very much like the problems you'll be doing today. So I would definitely stick around and watch this entire video. But the goal is to get the variable term by itself. And so you have 10 minus 6v. So this negative 6v or minus 6 is attached to the v. So they're a package deal because that's multiplication. So you got to get rid of this 10. Well, this is a positive 10. It's not a negative 10, otherwise there'd be a minus here. So we need to get rid of positive 10 so we can subtract 10. And we do that from both sides. So those cancel out. You now have negative 6v equals negative 104 minus 10 gets you negative 114. Now you want to get negative 6, or now you want to get v by itself. Okay? And how a lot of these are going to look is it's negative 6 times v. So you'll do the opposite, which is divide. Okay? Now, a lot of these you'll divide to solve, but you got to make sure there's no other terms. You don't want to divide by negative 6 first, because then you'll have to divide the 10 by negative 6 and you'll get some fractions. So you divide, well, negative 6 divided by negative 6 is just 1, so on the left you just have v equals, then you got negative 114 divided by negative 6, and that gets you 19. Okay, and what that tells you is what you can plug in for v so that this statement is true. Because negative 6 times 19 is negative 114. Then you have 10 minus that, so 10 minus 114 is negative 104, which is true. Negative 104 equals negative 104. So there you go. Let's do another one very similar to that. Again, you want to get the variable term by itself. You have a negative 9 attached to the x, but you want to get rid of the other terms without variables first. So we got to do the opposite of minus 13. So you got to add 13 to both sides. These cancel out. So you got negative 9x equals, you got negative 103 plus 13, and that gets you negative 90. Now there's no other terms with the variable, so we can just divide. So we got to do the opposite of times by negative 9, so you divide by negative 9. Here that cancels, so you get x equals, negative 9 goes to negative 90 10 times. So that would be our answer. Moving along to more difficult things. This is still the same as the previous. You have, the only thing different, is instead of multiplying, you're dividing. But we want to get this variable term by itself. Okay? We got to get the variable term by itself. So we got to get rid of the other term first. So we got to get rid of this minus 1. So we're going to add 1 to both sides. So you got m over 9 equals negative 2 plus 1 is negative 1. Now we got to get rid of divide by 9. Well, the opposite of dividing by 9 is multiplying by 9. So we have to multiply both sides by 9. So m equals negative 9. Alright, as I said a few slides ago, if you see parentheses, oftentimes you're going to want to distribute first. So let's just distribute. So negative 9, you multiply to the 10 and the x. So you got negative 243 equals negative 90 minus 9. Negative 9 times x is negative 9x. Okay? So now we got to get the variable term by itself. So we got to get rid of a minus 90. So the opposite of minus 90 is plus 90. So let's add 90 to both sides. So you got negative 9x, equals, then negative 243 plus 90 gets you negative 153. Now you got to divide by negative 9 to solve for x. And x would be 17, because negative divided by negative is positive. Okay, think one more. Yep. So here you will have one problem like this today. I'm going to count this as one whole term. Okay, so you have m minus 1 divided by 3 plus 1. So we have this one term. We want to get rid of the other terms. So we got to get rid of this guy. So instead of plus 1, we're going to start by subtracting 1 from both sides. So you have m minus 1 all over 3 equals negative 1. Okay, now both of these right here are being divided by 3. So we cannot add 1 over because there's still this divided by 3 here, and this is smushed in on top. So we have to get rid of this right here first. So you have a divide by 3. So what I'm going to do is times by 3, the opposite of divide. Then those cancel, so on the left you have m minus 1, because that divide's gone, equals negative 1 times 3 is negative 3. Now you just have to get m by itself. Well, look, m minus 1, all you have to do is add 1 to both sides. M equals negative 3 plus 1 is negative 2. So hopefully those are more basic equations to solve. Tomorrow we'll talk about a little more difficult ones. But with that, I hope you have a good day. Make sure you guys complete this homework by tomorrow at 4 p.m. And also forgot to mention that we are only going to do the odds. Hopefully that makes it to Google Classroom. We're only going to do the odds on the homework assignment today. If you notice, a lot of the problems I did are the evens today. Okay, so just the odds for homework.